Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining the Health, Human Performance, and Recreation premiere event today. We have Dr. Koh and Dr. Woody with us to take it away. I believe Dr. Koh is going to get us started.
Thank you, Tori. Welcome everybody to Baylor University and Premiere 2021. You already noticed that this is something different than we typically offer, because this is a great opportunity between both faculty and students to meet, each other, greeting each other, talk about, our department programs and so on. But now we virtually meet. But I don't think there's any differences between actual in-person meeting versus virtual. So I would like to take this time, great opportunity for both of us, faculty and students. So let's get started again. I'm Dr. Yunsuk Koh, an associate professor and program director of exercise physiology and the Department of Health, Human Performance and Recreation. We call HHPR in short. So from now on, when I say HHPR, I'm referring to our department. We're here with Dr. Woody this morning as well, as you can see on our main screen. So, right, you may have learned, more about Baylor University and our Robinson College of Health and Human Sciences, right? So let's go ahead and talk and learn more about specifically our program, Department of, again, HHPR. As you can see on this slide, we offer 5 different concentration areas, including health, kinesiology, leisure studies, health sciences studies, recreation and leisure services, exercise physiology, and all-level physical education. Well, some of you know already about these majors by hearing from your peers or other people in terms of what you can learn and what you can do after graduating from us. But some of you probably don't really know exactly what we can offer for each major, right? So I can't spend like 30 minutes because we only have 20 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and briefly talk about each major, very, very briefly. So in health education first, in health kinesiology and leisure studies, and student can prepare for some of the general career areas of health, fitness, recreation, and sports. And the second major, health sciences studies, and this can prepare students for professional preparation for entrance into graduate health, professional programs like medical school, dental school, OT, PT, athletic training, and the recreation and leisure services offers a student, to pursue, having a job in outdoor recreation area, community sports, and even recreation ministry. And next one is exercise physiology. And when I say we, because I'm the director of that program, so I say we. So we can actually let our students learn and conduct more health-related assessments and fitness testing, for general population, and we call special populations with a certain disease and so on. And we want to make sure they prepare our students for entrance into, again, graduate health professional programs like medicine, dental, and so on. And the last one, physical education major, of course, prepares our student to, teach grades from K to 12 with an emphasis in coaching, teaching, and either private or public schools. And of course, Dr. Wood is a program director for that program, along with other, but she will definitely talk more about this program if you have any questions. So let's move on to our next slide. There you go. So here is our my first question already. Well, if you look at your the right side of the screen, you have a chatting option, right? So let me ask you to do this first. How would you describe yourself at this moment or in the future? So go ahead and type it, and I'll give about 15, 20 seconds. So go ahead and type it. I want to do this, or I want to be this. I would like to do this, and then so on. So I'll give about 15, 20 minutes. So kind of introduce yourself a little bit, but also, let us know what you want to do. Clock is going 10 seconds. Even if I'm talking, next slide, then you still have time to write your statements in our chatting box. Okay, Tori, can you move on to the next slide, please? All right. You may have different answers from other people, but that's okay. But I would like to tell you this. I want to focus on one thing right here. If you wrote something like, well, I want to help people heal, or I really want to work with people, I really want to do something for people, something like that. So if I can summarize and condense on all things together, this is the purpose of our major, and of course is a part of the university's mission as well. We seek to people, we seek to help people be healthy physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually. So if you are thinking, wow, this is what I really want to do somehow in my for my future as a career, you're on the right place. So let's go to move to our next slide. And you may have said, okay, so what occupation, what jobs I have to do in order to fulfill my goals and enjoy my career while you're working, with the things that you really want to do. For example, if your primary purpose of job or goal for your future is, I want to help people heal, as you can see, you can have a job in medical area, so you can become medical doctors or dentists, cardiac rehab, PT, OT, physician's assistant. Our programs and surely offer all the prerequisites and fundamental subjects for our students to become and prepare for all these majors and all these jobs. So we have multi backgrounds in terms of the faculty with coming with a diverse research background and teaching background, and we want to make sure our students will be exposed to different areas of the interest so they can learn not necessarily one particular area of the subject, but they can learn a variety of different things so they're ready to get a job in multiple different health related fields. So next slide, please. So probably you said when I asked the first question, I said, well, I like sports. Yeah, of course, this is the right place to pursue your career. Athletic trainers, for example, coaches, strength and conditioning coaches, youth sports. As you can see in these photos, our students are directly or somehow indirectly related to all these sports teams. So I encourage you, if you want to do or want to be one of this, the list right here, you're in the right place, and we offer and we make sure you can achieve your goal. And I said, okay, well, not necessarily I like sports, but if you go to next slide, and it says, I love being outside. Working, being outside, hang around with buddies and hang around the people, but I want to do some kind of meaningful things. So of course, recreation leaders, sideline and strength coaches, working outside with the people, physical education teachers, of course. My daughter's one of the best subject is of course PE. Sometimes she complains, I ran too much today, but she also learns about how exercise, can give us in terms of positive benefit for our life, not necessarily for health, but mentally. So she loves, being outside and working, with her peers and teachers. So I really encourage, if you're thinking about becoming a future, teachers, well, seriously think about our majors. Next, please. Okay, well, Baylor is a very unique place that you can get not necessarily learning all the subjects, but also Baylor is a private university. So if you're thinking, I really want to minister to God's people with the things that I learned from this particular major, yes, of course, we offer this opportunity to our students, medical missionaries, for example, recreation and sports ministers, and Christian school PE teachers. This is a very unique opportunity in place specifically for Baylor, because we're emphasizing not only the academic, the work, but also we want to make sure that our student can spiritually healthy and become, as a leader in that particular area. So next, please. Okay, well, not only those, but I say, well, can I do any kind of, core science? Yes, of course. If you like to learn brand new things, the things you probably don't really know, one of our programs, exercise physiology, is also part of the STEM. So we do have really basic and bench sciences as well. So we currently had a newly designed, the state of arts, the laboratories with all different, type of equipment, biochemical equipment. So if you want to if you want to be a future scientist, an exercise physiologist, sports medicine, or medical researcher. And of course, we have lots of undergrad students are working in the labs. So you will have a chance to get exposed yourself to learn more about biochemical, physical kind of, the subjects. Next, please. All right, so if I can sort of summarize all the slide that I have, if you're saying, I like to work with people, you are in the right place, right? Look at all of these, our students, they're all smiling and learning at the same time, enjoy their time with their faculty and their peers. All right, so let me go ahead and ask this question in the next slide. And I'd like to ask you very quickly, tell me about this question. Did you know about our living, let me be my poll, living and learning centers? Just go ahead and say yes or no. I'll give about 5 seconds, right? Is that enough, Tori? And then I'm going to hand my slide to Dr. Woody. And Dr. Woody, go ahead and talk about the second half of our presentation.
All right, I think we've had time to take that poll. So if you'll go to the next slide, please. First of all, I want to thank you all for spending time with us this morning. We appreciate it. I graduated from Baylor, so if you cut my wrist, it's going to bleed green and gold. So I'm prejudiced, and I'm just going to put that right out there. But I think it's a great place to come and learn. And in the living centers are, I think some of you may have known just a little bit about it, but not everybody. So just a short definition of what these are. They are communities that we have formed with either like academic programs, if you're in similar academic programs, or if you have similar interests with different individuals. For example, our department has 2 opportunities, and these particular living centers are in dorms. We have one in Penland Residence Hall, and that is our outdoor adventure and living center. And these individuals are focused on fitness and wellness. And so we have many different majors that are in that particular living center. And it's not just in our department, but we have a large percentage of the people who live in Penland are in this particular living center or from our department. We have another opportunity for our department majors, and that is the Science and Health Living Center in Earl Hall. And these individuals are probably pre-med, pre-dent, pre-PT, pre-OT, pre-physician's assistant. And in either of these, whether it's the fitness and wellness focus or the science and health living centers, they offer different programs. For example, in the fitness and wellness focus, they will have a bike trip, or they will have a backpacking camping trip on the weekend, or they will have a different program that gives information about how to survive in the wilderness. In Science and Health Living Center, they will have, for example, webinars on clinical techniques in various settings in surgery centers or in the ER or emergency room or in a particular clinical setting in physical therapy or occupational therapy. And so it's a specific, they're not necessarily a course, but it's just a time that people can get together and talk about what's happening in their field and be educated and be more prepared when they enter into their particular profession. Next slide, please. We also have in our department a very intensive and intentional opportunity for individuals to be in the field in which they are going to be for their profession. And we, of course, the internship is an opportunity for you to do that. We do offer an internship for academic credit, and in probably, I would say all of our majors have the opportunity in about 6 out of the 7. It is a required course for graduation. And so it varies. The hours that you spend vary in each of these. Our dance minor for exercise physiology, for recreation and leisure services, for our all-level physical education. And then in HKLS, if you have a particular desire to do an internship, we offer that opportunity. And just a bit of information about the difference between internship and observation. In the internship, there is a person on site that actually signs a contract to be a mentor. And so you're not just standing off in the corner watching everything, you are with that person. I'll give you 2 different examples. For example, if you are in a clinical setting and you are either in a PT, OT, or pre-med, then you will be with that person, whether they go in for an examination, whether they are doing an exercise protocol, or whether they are in a meeting with consulting. Different physicians, for example, come together, or physical therapists and occupational therapists come together and say, okay, what are we going to do with this? You are with that person throughout the day and throughout your particular internship. And so it gives you an opportunity to not only see what's going on in your field, but it also gives you an opportunity to talk with professionals who are in your field. And I can say this, both Dr. Koh and I supervise interns at the university level. And it's been my experience that those who mentor are actually just very, very interested in our students, and they want to teach them about the profession. So that is a distinct advantage that you would have in this department. Okay, next slide, please. We also have a study abroad program for different majors, and I know that in the last 2 years we've been in a different situation, so we haven't had these particular programs, but we are very much working on getting them up and going when everything clears and we can get people into different countries. And so we have different opportunities for students to go and experience other countries and other cultures. I have supervised in both England and Australia, and the students with whom I worked there, our Baylor students, had a very, very intensive experience, and that was a very it's planned. And then beyond the planning, you do have an opportunity. I think they give a travel week in most instances to help people get more of the culture and outside the profession in which they are working. But we, again, as you can see on the screen, Recreation and Leisure Services has a program in Australia. All-level physical education has Costa Rica, England, and Australia opportunities. And we have HHPR internships for health science studies in Costa Rica. And so it's an opportunity for you to, again, experience other cultures and to see how the professions work in other places. Next slide, please. So just another hint for you, regardless of where you go, and we do hope it's a Baylor, but regardless of where you go, we encourage you to get with the professional advisor. Robbins College has an advising department that is excellent, and the advisors know your program, and I really encourage you to get with those individuals as soon as you get to Baylor. The minute you step on campus, and if you come to a summer orientation, you will be introduced to your advisors. Next slide, please. So again, these are our majors, and exercise physiology, health kinesiology and leisure studies, health science studies, physical education, teacher certification, and recreation and leisure services. And then we also have the Living and Learning Center in Penland. So if you go to the next slide, and this is a poll that you can take, and we'd just like to know what major interests you the most. Give you a second there, maybe 3. Okay, and Tori, I think we can go to the next slide as they can finish that up. These are our program directors for each of these programs, and with our email address, and we would very much encourage you to get in touch with either any of these individuals. We'd be more than happy to get back in touch with you and answer any questions that you might have. So let's see, I don't think we have athletic training on that poll. It just is a point there. Athletic training is a part of our health science studies program right now. It is a master's degree level, and so you get a bachelor's with the 5th year in that certification program. So next slide. And I think we're going to open this up to questions, but just let me say before that, we really hope to see you on campus. And again, thank you so much for your time that you've spent with us today, and we will be glad to answer any questions.